What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash. Today is October 22nd of 2017. Well, folks, as you all keep up with my channel, you know that once a week I recap on everything price action and news related to cryptocurrencies. And today we've got a lot to talk about, seeing as I'm 2 days behind. I usually do it on Friday, as you all most likely know. And I got kind of caught up doing some other content for the channel. We got a lot coming down the pipeline for DataDash and the overall community. But today we've also got some extra news to cover, seeing as we're 2 days extra behind of when we should cover it. So anyways, let's jump right into it. We got a lot to talk about. Again, a lot of price action to cover, how altcoins are going to be my kind of watch right now. I've got 3 trade opportunities that I think are going to do really well. Of course, it's just my opinion, not financial advice. And then the last thing I want to talk about is generally ICOs and how that's going to tie into altcoins, as well as some general talk between, the forks, how Bitcoin Gold's getting support, if it is getting any support at all, and then also UBS, one of the large banks of the world, coming out and saying that cryptocurrencies are a speculative bubble. All right, we got lots to talk about, guys. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. First one I want to talk about is the overall market cap of cryptocurrencies. Again, kind of unchanged. As much as there is a lot to talk about, there really hasn't been much in the sense of price action. We got a little bit of a dip this week in Bitcoin from its peak at new highs. And we're relatively just still holding around those highs for Bitcoin. But right now, in overall market cap for cryptocurrencies, we're still seeing resistance at that continued level at 175 billion. Just seems like a big even that we're waiting to pass once we get a catalyst. And I think we all know the catalyst, whether it's going to be good or bad in the long term, or if people are really going to adopt it, is Bitcoin Gold. People are waiting for the fork. That's why things are kind of stabling out right now. We're not seeing an uptrend in altcoins or in Bitcoin right now. It's just kind of hanging there. So until we get the fork, again, I know a lot of people have very stellar opinions as to whether or not it's going to be good or bad. Most people are really inching towards the bad side. I'm kind of on the same boat. It's just there's so much skepticism going on. There's no actual knowledge of the source code. We'll talk later about how Coinbase is not supporting Bitcoin Gold, which is definitely a telltale sign that something's up here. But again, right now, we're just continuing to see resistance. And until we get Bitcoin Gold launched, whether Bitcoin Gold is going to be the catalyst to push us up above there in the sense of its new valuation added to the market, or altcoins, which I think is going to be what's going to lead this, we have to wait for that event to happen. We have to wait till it gets distributed, okay? So that's going to be on the 25th, just 3 days away. So we've got, some anticipation coming into that. It's only going to be 3 days away. It's pretty exciting. I'll try to get a live stream going as well during the actual fork. I know that's going to be an exciting moment for everyone. But again, we're going to have to wait and just see what happens. I think it's going to be exactly what we saw with Bitcoin Cash. We're going to see Bitcoin sell off. I think that, honestly, Bitcoin Gold is not going to do that well. It's going to sell pretty quick off of its launch. And the fact that they don't have futures trading for it is a pretty bad sign. And they already have SegWit 2x futures, the next fork that's going to be coming in November, as we'll talk about more as it comes towards that in the channel. They've already got futures for SegWit 2x or B2x, as you might have heard it. So that's sad that they don't even have futures for Bitcoin Gold yet, and they have one that's coming out in November. Anyways, getting a little bit sidetracked, but again, we're waiting for the catalyst for the overall market cap. Now, we can see also as well, a lot of people have been asking me, Nick, you've been saying that altcoins are getting optimistic, yet Bitcoin continues to gain market dominance. This is relatively true. I gotta say, folks, I guess it was a little bit misleading to say this. Altcoins are not exactly gaining market dominance yet. However, they're not losing an exaggerated amount as much as people think. The biggest loser in market dominance has been Ethereum. Ethereum has been losing a lot of steam recently. Ever since the peak of the altcoin bubble, Ethereum's lost about half of its ownership of market dominance. And I've been telling you all, when we were originally watching Ethereum, a lot of people were criticizing me when I said that Ethereum was going to drop around 5 million Satoshis. I said, guys, it's not maintaining the steam. It had a descending triangle. And again, Ethereum did that. It went right through it. So we'll take a look at Ethereum again. But Bitcoin dominance has just been coming up due to the fact that there's 2 new forks coming out for it, Bitcoin Gold and Bitcoin B2X in the sense of SegWit 2X. So again, there's a lot of free money coming in for Bitcoin holders, and people are going to capture that free money. But once it starts getting released, that money is going to flow back into altcoins, much like in the past. When Bitcoin goes up, altcoins follow. altcoins aren't getting left behind. There's so much optimism coming into altcoins. We just haven't seen it in the price action yet because Bitcoin's got this optimistic catalyst that's coming up. And we can see that in the ICO market, which we'll talk about later. So again, I think we've got a lot of room for this white line here, the other altcoins, to step in and really gain some dominance over the market. I think in this next run up, you're really going to see, in the case of other coins, being around 15% of a peak around July, whereas they're right now sitting around 12%. I think you could see this bolster up to 20 or 25% of market dominance. There's a lot of new exciting projects out there, and we'll start talking about what I think those players are going to be in just a second. The last thing I want to talk about is Bitcoin and Ethereum in the sense of the kind of larger players. Bitcoin is tethering towards new highs. A lot of people are asking me, Nick, should I buy into Bitcoin? You know, guys, the time to buy was down here. Now, if you just got into cryptocurrencies, I feel you. Understand sometimes you want to get into it because you get kind of like FOMO. It's like, oh, I know I could have bought it back here, but I just got into crypto. Should I buy it up here? I wouldn't recommend it, folks. Honestly, unless you think Bitcoin Gold is going to do good and you think that you can hold steady until SegWit 2x, really wouldn't recommend it right now. I'd wait for a pullback, unless you're buying Bitcoin to go into altcoins. Maybe in that case. But again, just holding Bitcoin at these levels or going into it doesn't seem like the smartest decision. I think you could get it at a dip. We just saw the other day how Bitcoin, fell down a few $100s just within a matter of a few hours, and then of course it rebounded. But again, it shows that there's a little bit of price instability going to the forks. People don't know what the value of Bitcoin Gold is going to be. And then in the case of Ethereum compared to Bitcoin, again, like I said, it wasn't unreasonable to think that this could get down to 5 million Satoshis. And of course, TradingView isn't going to give me my full chart, but as you all remember, this was going through a descending triangle, which is a bearish sign. And, we don't argue the technical analysis, folks. Sometimes it's very clear, and, there hasn't been anything to really push up Ethereum with the optimism that Bitcoin has had with its forks. There's no new forked currency coming for Ethereum holders. And whether that would have been a good or bad thing, it's just reality right now. So that's how crypto markets work, and we've got to play by the rules. We have to think a step ahead of the game in regards to these cryptos. So now that I've talked about the big players and all the big news and kind of the bigger movements in cryptocurrencies, I want to go ahead and talk about what we've been talking about on this channel. We've been saying that small caps, if anything, in the altcoin space, we're going to lead, and we have had some great plays. First one I want to talk about is going to be my first trade recommendation of the week, Substratum. Now, you all know I've been optimistic on this project. I'm optimistic into it going into 2018. And I know some of you are probably tired of me talking about it. I love the project, though. Whereas there's still so much BS in the ICO space, haven't seen much that really have gotten me optimistic. Again, we're currently seeing a continuation going towards the hopeful reversal, the ICO reversal, where we had the highs of the open here on Binance. We found the support here. And what I find really interesting is that with, in the case of Substratum, when we had the pullback after this initial run-up, we found support generally at the resistance of the pullback over here. So this is good. It pretty much seems that we're not going through, this wasn't just some kind of short-term run-up, and then we're going to proceed to have a sell-off afterwards. No, it actually looks like we're continuing upward. And if we can get back up against these highs, we're going through for the ICO reversal, in my opinion. I think it's going to be fantastic. As you all know, I'm holding long-term on the sense of Substratum. I like the project, but I also think it opens up a great trade opportunity as well for those of you who don't want to hold long-term. Again, I think the volume's going to start coming back in like we saw over here. This was very good to see for Substratum, but we have got two other players that have been doing fantastic in the market. Vertcoin has been killing it. We just did a video on Vertcoin yesterday, and it continued up from there. Vertcoin has been absolutely decimating every other altcoin. There has been kind of a general lack of kind of optimism for altcoins, but in the topic and wake of Bitcoin Gold and the lack of optimism that's coming into that, and the freedom that it was supposed to bring to GPU miners, people are losing faith in Bitcoin Gold, and they're looking for an alternative. I think Vertcoin is going to be that player. Now, I don't know if it can sustain this movement. I really don't think it'd be extremely smart to buy at these levels. I think we could very well see a pullback, and we already are kind of seeing it. It's just not showing on CoinMarketCap. But folks, this was just like an absolute run-up. Look at this. Have you seen any altcoins act like this in the market right now? There's none right now that have done this outside of the other player we're going to look at in a minute. But again, I mean, this was just a killer run up. Now, of course, I will be fair with you all. I've locked in a little bit of my Vertcoin. However, I am going to be building up my position on a pullback, and I'm going to be making an even larger position now that it has pulled back. But Vertcoin has been doing great. The volume is coming in. The optimism from miners and the one-click miner being released is getting a lot of people anticipated for this. So keep in mind, Vertcoin could go much higher over the coming year. I'm very optimistic on this. Okay, folks? I think it's got a lot of room to go. But we've definitely got to see a cool down. My strategy for this, if you really want to know, unless it can sustain over 70,000 Satoshis, I think that we're kind of cooling down after this first run up. We've seen it in the past. It has these little exuberant run ups and it has a cool down, but it always makes it to new highs and finds new higher levels of support. What I think we're going to see here, I'll draw with the segment tool here, is that we're honestly going to see a pullback down to the 40,000 Satoshi range. I think we could very well see this. And I think it'd be very healthy for this. Now, I know a lot of the bulls on Vertcoin aren't going to like me for saying this because that would mean that it's got another 50% to go down from where it is now. I honestly think we're just going to see it. Just to be fair, I'm not going to continue to just be overtly optimistic on something. Things need cooldowns. Things need pullbacks. And I think what you'll see is kind of generally a close around here, and then you'll just start to see some kind of red days probably slowly going down and finding support here. Now, if this closes above 70,000 and holds the majority of its exuberance, it might be going higher for another day or two. I don't know, but I think in a healthy sense, this could be very nice for Vertcoin to go down and maybe find some support here. Not guaranteeing it. Nothing's ever guaranteed in markets, but I think it'd be very healthy for Vertcoin to find that support and confirm that, look, we're hanging over higher levels, folks. We're going to new highs for Vertcoin. I think that'd be great, but we'll have to see with Vertcoin. Next up is Nablio. Nablio has been another small cap in the space that we have absolutely made a good call on. This one has been killing it recently and has had even a nice little pullback from its highs. Again, I'm staking Nablio, haven't touched it at all, have not sold any. I'm actually hopefully looking to add if we continue to get a little bit of a pullback here. But what's nice is if we take off the market cap in USD, this got Bitcoin comparative support at its previous highs at 60,000. So I think this might be the end of the pullback, and I think we're going to see it continue to rise up. This is going to be a steady competitor against Stratus, folks. I've been hearing from people, a lot of people who've been in the, not the Slack channel, I think it's either their Telegram or Slack, and they've been keeping in contact with the dev team and stuff, and they've just been working like head over heels to get this project out and deliver on schedule. I love that kind of grind with Nablio. I think they've got a great team. They've been continuously delivering ahead of schedule. Again, I'm not just trying to shill this coin. I really do believe in the project. There is a few small caps out there that are going to propose a lot of opportunity when altcoins take back dominance of the market and when Bitcoin goes under the 50% mark. So keep an eye on these small caps because small caps are going to bring the highest reward. If you can pick up good projects at low prices, you will do good in these markets. So again, keep an eye on these three small caps. Again, Substratum is one of my trades for the week, and we'll continue to go through and talk about the other two that I'm watching. However, before we continue on, SegWit2x, the fork that's coming in November, has launched futures on HitBTC, and they've been doing quite well. This is quite a high valuation for one of the forks. This is looking like Bitcoin Cash at its previous highs. So this is definitely interesting. I think you're not going to see the same valuation for, Bitcoin Gold. I just honestly don't think. Now, keep in mind too, a lot of people might be wondering, well, what's the overall market cap valuation? Well, with every fork, there's the same equivalent amount of Bitcoin. So we can do this calculation right here. If we open up a calculator, we take it here, we do $907.40. We multiply that by 21 million. We get a valuation of $19 billion added to cryptocurrency coming this November. Now, do I think it's going to sustain here? I don't know about that. We'll have to see. We'll have to see if the optimism is there for this actual currency. And these are just futures, folks. The volume is extremely low, and it just launched. I bet if we refresh the page here, oh, it's at 921. Look at that. It's going higher. Who knows? Again, we'll have to see when this actually launches. Futures are a little bit out there, but I gotta say, the fact that this is coming out in November and there's already futures coming out for SegWit2x shows that this is going to be the fork that gives optimism to Bitcoin, not Bitcoin Gold. It speaks volumes that there are already futures for a fork that's coming out in November, and Bitcoin Gold is not getting support in general. There's no futures for Bitcoin Gold. So again, interesting to see HitBTC offering this kind of futures. I think it's awesome to see this in the crypto space, and it shows that there's absolute exuberance for some of these forks coming later on for Bitcoin. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But going into more of the altcoins, I know a lot of you want me to just kind of scan through some names in the crypto space. Stratus looks like it's finally got some support around 50,000 Satoshis. This looks interesting. I definitely might consider doing a buy down here. This is my second trade recommendation, at least in my perspective, not financial advice, but I'm definitely looking to personally get some Stratus down here. Looks good at these levels. Definitely keep an eye on it. And then we've also got Neo as well. Neo just still hanging around that same support level. Nothing really happening with it. I think we need the altcoin run up to really get this back up to these highs. It's going to take some time though. As much as you all know, I'm optimistic on Neo, but these mid caps have been struggling. They're waiting for the forks to just come through, just like they did with Bitcoin Cash. It's just a matter of patience and picking up those great cheap projects. Neo, I think, is on the cheap end. It's at $28 right now. And the Satoshi marking is just extremely cheap in my opinion. The ARK as well. ARK is another one. I think that ARK, what you're going to see, as much as I'm long-term on this one and I'm optimistic, I think you might see a fall down, seeing as we broke the, I'll even bring it up on the chart here. We had the 100-day broken, which was, I think someone said it on my Reddit, on the Data Dash Reddit. They said that like when ARK broke through the 100-day, it just kind of like broke a part of their heart. I felt the same way. But I think what we're going to see is probably a fallback to the 200-day, and I think that'll be really good. You know, ARK has had 60% pullbacks in the past. You know, it's done it in the past. I'm not negative on ARK, but it's had 60 to 66% pullbacks in its valuation. So I think pulling back to the 200-day would be healthy and good for ARK. Then we've also got Mise Go. Mise Go, another altcoin that I bought. I think I bought it here around 1,340,000 Satoshis. Nope, sorry, 134,000 Satoshis. Keep on getting the Satoshi markings mixed up, but I pretty much bought around here. Not really down on my money that much, not up. Just waiting for this to really kind of start rallying up. I think we found support here at this previous resistance level. Who knows, might pull back a little bit more. Not really worried about a Mise Go. I think we're buying it on the cheaper end of things, and we're going to be patient and wait till it comes back up. And that'll be a nice return for us, over 100% return if we get back up to the previous highs. I think Mise Go is very well capable of that. Lumens. A lot of y'all wanted me to talk about Stellar Lumens. I've been kind of keeping quiet on this. I was originally optimistic on the project going back in September. Now, I haven't talked about it much and I haven't looked into it, but they had some partnership news that has given Lumens a lot of benefit of value, or a lot of valuation, benefited optimism. So, again, you can't do too much here in the sense of technical analysis. However, I do like the fact that we found support here on the hourly, and if we can cross up back against 600 and have a close on this daily candle, if we can kind of close up here on this daily candle here, that would be very good in the sense of optimism for Stellar Lumens. We'll have to see though. But again, I was waiting for this to get some partnerships, because it's good to see someone in the kind of market where Ripple is finally getting some needed praise and reputation. Lumens is a lot more branded towards some more positive things, uplifting people from poverty, making their transaction times, keep in mind, are extremely fast, 2 to 5 seconds, and the fees are ridiculously cheap, ridiculously. So I've always thought Lumens would have a good future. I was just waiting to see that adoption, and it finally got it. So, you know, will it be good? I don't know. That's why I haven't really been talking about it too much. I'll be honest, I didn't call it in any sense. But we'll have to see how it goes going into these new partnerships that it's launched. So we might be covering that on the channel. I know some of you are wanting me to cover Lumens, and I'll definitely consider doing a video on it in the near future and recapping on what I previously talked about a long time ago on the channel. Next up is 10x. So the meme persists. Nick, do I buy 10x? Should I buy 10x, Nick? Isn't 10x cheap to buy? You know, is it time to sell 10x, Nick? Yeah, 10x has been the meme. Well, as you all know, I got out of 10x a while ago. I made a little small swing trade. I wish I would have sold it up here. But of course, you never can time the market perfectly. I did make a profit on it. 10x, folks, is just, it's 10x right now. It is on the cheaper end. This is literally, I think, I mean, if you've been hoping to get 10x at a dip, there's your opportunity. I just don't know, though. They just haven't been very consistent with news, updates. I don't know. There's been Monaco who's been actually coming in and actually getting a little bit of the traction, even though we're not going to be looking at it today. Again, 10x has just been kind of quiet. I think it's waiting for the fork, like most altcoins in the mid-cap space. So we'll have to see. Actually, I think 10x is actually a small cap now because it's lost a lot of its valuation. So that's it for the coin coverage of altcoins. Let's go ahead and look into a few very important headlines and reports. First one is on Bitcoin Gold with Coinbase. Coinbase is not supporting Bitcoin Gold as of now. Reason being is because the source code has not been released. Because of this, there's skepticism for security reasons for owners of Bitcoin. Okay, so again, they are currently supporting SegWit 2x. They're planning to add support. I think that's awesome. And as they also supported Bitcoin Cash, it proves that there's some very odd-natured events going on with Bitcoin Gold. People don't really know what it's all about. Is it actually going to come out at a successful launch? And again, I don't know. There's been worries. I've been heard talks of people being worried as to whether or not it's actually going to launch steadily. If people are going to be able to get it at a fine date. The website has just literally been like, there's been no information. It's hard for me to talk about it because there's not much to talk about. There have been a ton of rumors being tossed around, but really the thing that just worries me is their website. Their website literally has, I think I was talking with one of my developers behind Project Dash, they've had like 2 blog posts on their website. Whoop-de-doo. A multi-billion-dollar currency that's about to launch just got a website launched with 2 blog posts. Like, really? Like, this is the kind of stuff that people criticize on cryptocurrencies, and it's extremely justified. It is really justified. There's so much mystery going on with this. No one knows what's going on with Bitcoin Gold. The message and the philosophy is great, but where's the actual source code? Where can we start reading up on Bitcoin Gold? What's going to actually make us confident in the project? Nothing so far. Nothing so far. The ICO space. Not dying off anytime soon. It's been killing it over the past week. Actually, sorry, not past week, the past month. October has proved to be another optimistic month for ICOs. And of course, I think that you've got another big project or two coming through, but September was the largest month for ICOs, and we finally reached over $3 billion in valuation of overall ICOs raised. That's not even to mention the value of overall ICOs. This is just how much they've raised. And as always, I've kind of been talking about this channel. There's a few major industries, and I'm going to do a video eventually talking about the industries where I think blockchain is actually going to actually have a staking in. You know, there's a lot of industries where people will toss something with the blockchain, food with the blockchain, healthcare with the blockchain, you know, whatever it may be. You know, kind of spend me on coins and ICOs. There is a few industries that are going to actually have a standing in cryptocurrency. The biggest one, which they label as infrastructure here, I usually call it enterprise solutions. Infrastructure is going to be the biggest one. This is your Ethereums. This is your Neos. This is Stratus. All things that are going to be building decentralized apps or sub-blockchains on top of the original parent blockchain. Infrastructure is that. Then you have trading and investing. You're going to have decentralized exchanges. You're going to have ways to trade and sell commodities. LaToken is another one of those. And you've got, I think there's a few other ICOs that are building decentralized exchanges. I think there's the big one. I'm trying to think of Robinhood is the one that I was interested in. I was looking into, but again, I haven't really participated in many ICOs, but we see generally the same trends. You see infrastructure, you see finance, payments tied into finance as well. Data storage, as we've been talking about. Filecoin has made up a lot of that. Filecoin was the biggest ICO we've had so far, even above Tezos. But you can tell a lot of these ICOs, folks, like Bancor, Tezos, EOS Stage 1, haven't been very good. Again, just because something raises a lot of money doesn't mean it's going to be a good project. So, and not to mention in many cases it means that it's going to go down over time. So we'll have to see, but I mean, this is just, it shows you that the optimism isn't not there. It's just that Bitcoin itself has been getting absolutely pumped up in the sense of optimism for the 2 forks that are going to be coming out, which is pretty much going to give free cash to holders. And the last thing we're going to talk about here, UBS comes out saying cryptocurrencies are a speculative bubble. Now, if we read through it, let's go ahead and look at some of the quotes, and we'll see a continued trend that we see with Jamie Dimon and a lot of other bankers They think the sharp rise in cryptocurrency valuations in recent months is a speculative bubble. The bank added that it was doubtful cryptocurrencies will ever become a mainstream means of exchange. Go figure. They don't want cryptocurrencies to be the new currency. However, as we always see, as we see with the bankers, despite the fact that UBS doesn't appear to favor digital cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, it is regarding the blockchain in a more positive light. Would you go figure? Something that has benefited banks recently. So much that the UBS believes that the distributed ledger will lead to a significant impact within industries such as finance, manufacturing, healthcare, and utilities. Well, crypto makes up a lot of that. UBS are claiming that this could add as much as $300 to $400 billion of economic value by 2027. So, the continued trend of bankers saying, oh, well, let's praise blockchain. It's saved us a lot of money and it's saving us much more. But yeah, the Bitcoin not going to happen. Again, this whole idea that you're going to have it one way or another is not going to be the case, folks. It's funny because I think we all kind of get it, and we're not, debating one another. I think the bankers just kind of are living in this hopeful world that they can get the short-term gains out of blockchain and saving money for transactions and money wiring. But really, I don't think that they realize that over the long term, you're not going to stop Bitcoin. You're not going to stop all these digital currencies. It's a revolution in the making. And I think it's so optimistic to see the banks kind of bending over and just kind of letting cryptocurrencies kind of slide. I think it's just because they're getting greedy. They're thinking of the short-term gains they can get from things like Ripple. And because of that, we are going to see cryptocurrencies and blockchain step into more and more industries. This is not stopping. They're not fighting for the legal regulation of it. They might try to on Bitcoin, but it's not going to happen. If they want Ripple and other cryptocurrencies that supply this kind of blockchain technology to flourish, then cryptocurrencies are going to continue to go. Now, a lot of people have been saying, Nick, they're just going to go out and create their own blockchains. That's true. They could do that. And I think that, they could have done this for years, but they're too late to the ballpark. Crypto's not going away. With decentralized exchanges, atomic swaps, and all these things coming out, it's not a speculative bubble. It's people realizing that for once they can have power over their own money. You want to know what a speculative bubble is? A multi-trillion dollar, both a multi-trillion dollar equities and currency market that has been way overinflated and is completely controlled by a few central people and a few central institutions. Again, it's just talk. There's no, you can say anything's a speculative bubble, but unless you have something substantial to back it up, then there's nothing worthy of it. Now, to be fair, ICOs, I think, are going through a little bit of a speculative bubble. I think there's some that launch for ridiculous valuations. Same as Silicon Valley, the same as tech startups around the world, the same as currencies around the world that are completely unstable, and we're going to see over the next year or two instability come into actual currency and equities markets. But again, then you can toss speculative in front of anything. It's really a matter of adoption, and we are seeing adoption of cryptocurrencies. It's coming slowly but surely, but once we hit that S-curve, once it starts really getting picked up, that is going to be the moment that you're going to say, man, I wish I was in cryptocurrencies. Well, anyways, that's it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm sorry I kind of rambled on a little bit, but there's a lot to cover in this industry, a lot of things changing. I'm very optimistic, though. And again, you're always going to have negative hit pieces like this from large banks and institutions saying that crypto doesn't have a room or spot in this world to grow in the long term. I highly doubt it. We've got a lot to see in the world of cryptocurrencies, folks. We're just tapping the surface of it. We're about to really enter the third bull run of cryptocurrencies. It's going to be immense, it's going to be exciting, and I hope that we will all be a part of it and reap the benefits of its potential gains. Anyways, everyone, that's it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have a coin or token you want me to cover on the channel, definitely go check out our subreddit where we're doing our polls of the week, talking about what coins you want to see, as well as any other recommendations and topics. Definitely check us out on Reddit. But until then, everyone, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.